they will definitely give up. The person have eaten up what? So that will be helping you in the exam. Another thing which they will be giving up is regarding the incubation periods and all. Okay. So guys, as I told up, the first two, they are what? Less than 6 hours. Okay. Then this particular one, it is 8 to 16 hours. Okay, 8 to 16 hours. And the last one is for more than 16 hours. Okay. And what is this which I'm telling you? 6 hours, 8 to 16, and more than 16. That is regarding the incubation periods. That is regarding what, guys? That is regarding the incubation periods. Okay. So one by one, we'll see up which particular food source is related with which organism. Okay. And I will tell you some important points also besides that. Okay, guys. So first of all, you should know regarding the Staphylococcus aureus. The Staph aureus, in total, in a simple way, you can remember of any contaminated meat and milk product. Okay. Any contaminated meat and milk product. Contaminated meat and milk product. Okay. Contaminated meat and milk. So that is one of the things which associates with Staph aureus food poisoning. Which associates with what? Staph aureus food poisoning. It is being done by what? It is being done by antirotoxin. And the antirotoxin is which one, guys? Antirotoxin A. Okay. So first of all, let's see that what are the sources by which the Staphylococcus aureus food poisoning happens. किस किस चीज से होता है? Okay. So one is ham. You know the hamburgers and all. Poultry, bird products, potato or egg salad, mayonnaise, which you eat up with very interest, the cream pastries. So this particular question regarding cream pastries and all is being asked in the NEET PG twice. So this also you should be known that this cream pastry is one they have given up that somebody have eaten up from a party, date night party, and after 6 hours early morning starts having this vomiting and all. So which particular organism most likely associates? The answer is Staphylococcus aureus. So guys, if you see up, अगर question में लिखा हो क्या इन सब का नाम, like a hamburger somebody have eaten up, poultry bird products, potato egg salad, mayonnaise और cream pastries, तो हमें किसके बारे में सोचना है? We have to think for Staphylococcus aureus. Is it fine? Other than that, if we talk about the Bacillus cereus, the Bacillus cereus, which particular strain? Ematic strain. Okay, Bacillus cereus, ematic strain. Characteristic history is there of what? Chinese fried rice. Okay, Chinese fried rice, characteristic history will be there. And important is this is reheated Chinese fried rice. Okay, and here also they can say that these particular products which are there, they are heated one. Like somebody have eaten up heated paneer. Okay, in a marriage and all. शादी में गए पनीर खाया वो भी बड़ा गर्म लेकिन उसके बाद भी फूड पॉइजनिंग होगी even after that heating the food poisoning happened. So that suggests what? That is a heat stable toxin. So remember here also it is reheated in the Chinese fried rice one, and here also it's reheated stuff. In them also they survive. And that suggests what, guys? That suggests that it's a which sort of a toxin? It's a heat stable toxin. Okay, it's a which sort of a toxin, guys? It's a heat stable toxin. Okay, it's a heat stable toxin. Fine. So remember this particular aspect also that this is the heat stable toxin. You're able to see up this particular table, or I should zoom it? If you're finding a difficulty in seeing up, then I can zoom that. Okay. I think the landscape you can see it properly. Fine. So if it is being talked about the Chinese fried rice, that from a roadside vendor you have eaten up Chinese fried rice and after that the emesis and vomiting happened. So that is Bacillus cereus and Staphylococcus aureus after attending a marriage and all. Regarding the Clostridium perfringens. So guys, you know the Clostridium perfringens mostly does what? Gas gangrene. But yes, here we are talking about what? We are talking about the food poisoning. Okay, we are talking about what? We are talking about the food poisoning. So Clostridium perfringens also associates with what, guys? It also associates with food poisoning. Okay, Clostridium perfringens. And which particular type of Clostridium perfringens associate with that? That is the type A. Okay, type A alpha toxin. Okay, type A alpha toxin, the same one which does gas gangrene, also associates with food poisoning. And the organism is Clostridium perfringens, whose type is type A alpha toxin. And what all is being eaten up? Contaminated beef, poultry bird products, legumes, gravies. They all associates with what? They all associates with Clostridium perfringens. Is it fine? With the help of 3-4 tables only, I will tell you that how to handle up this food poisoning stuff and diarrhea along with dysentery. Okay, along with few tables itself. So if you listen up to this, most of the things will be covered of yours. So Bacillus cereus, diarrheal one. If we talk about the Bacillus cereus, diarrheal one, that is obviously which is mainly doing the diarrhea, because the previous one is emesis, that is the vomiting and all, emesis, and here it is diarrhea. Is it fine? So this one associates with eating of what? Contaminated meat, vegetables, dried beans, cereals. So that is regarding the Bacillus cereus diarrheal one. Okay. And the Bacillus cereus hematic one, I told you, the typical history of what? Chinese fried rice. Typical history of what? Chinese fried rice. Okay. Now, coming to those which are more than 16 hours. Vibrio cholerae. Vibrio cholerae infection mostly happens in the form of epidemic. But yes, these can also be the contributors, obviously the shellfish, contaminated shellfish or contaminated water that you already know. Enterotoxigenic E. coli, enterotoxigenic E. coli. This particular ETEC, what is the short form of it? It is termed as ETEC. Okay. And if you have done all your studies and all, you must be knowing this also कि enterotoxinic E. coli किसके साथ associate करता है? It associates with traveler's diarrhea. Okay, a person who travels frequently to different countries suffers from what? Suffers from traveler's diarrhea. And there, that particular individual eats up the local food and lands up with what? Diarrhea. So, enterotoxinic E. coli, this particular one associates with traveler's diarrhea. Okay, this associates with what? Traveler's diarrhea. And in fact, this is the most common cause of traveler's diarrhea. In fact, this is the most common cause of traveler's diarrhea. Which one? Enterotoxigenic E. coli. And the infection of this happens by eating of what? The salads, cheese, meat, contaminated water. So all this associates with what? Enterotoxigenic E. coli. So one thing is for sure, guys, mostly it is the contaminated vegetables along with contaminated meat. That is most. If you tend to forget also, no, that water is there, you can write anything of that sort. Okay. So that will help you to write up in the exam that exact thing. Okay. If you don't know, then you can write these at least. Right. Enterohemorrhagic E. coli. Enterohemorrhagic E. coli. Another important E. coli which does the problem, that is O157H7. And O157H7, if you have really studied well up till, you must be knowing also. O157H7 is what? O is somatic antigen, H is flagellar antigen, and this particular serotype leads to HUS in the children. And what is HUS? Hemolytic uremic syndrome. Okay, and the infection of this happens after what? Eating up this contaminated beef, roasted beef, salami, raw milk, raw vegetables, and apple juice. And obviously, that apple juice is contaminated. The one thing is for sure that here also the same story, contaminated vegetables along with contaminated milk products. Okay, regarding the enterohemorrhagic E. coli also. And I told you that which particular one is there, guys? That is O157H7, which leads to what? That is HUS in children, and it can lead to hemorrhagic form of a diarrhea in the adults. Okay, hemorrhagic form of diarrhea in the adults. Now talking about the Salmonella. Salmonella, which Salmonella? Non-Salmonella typhi. So you can call it as what? NST. What you can call it? Non-Salmonella typhi. Associates with what? Beef, poultry products, eggs, dairy products. So that is regarding the Salmonella. And which Salmonella? Non-Salmonella typhi. Is it fine? Then talking about this Campylobacter jejuni. So have you heard of this name, guys? Campylobacter jejuni. If you have not heard of, then you should be knowing it because the question definitely will be coming in the exam regarding the Campylobacter jejuni. And this time in the NEET PG, this question came just now. Associates with what? Contaminated poultry products along with the contaminated raw milk. Okay, obviously unpasteurized raw milk. That is one of the etiology by which Campylobacter jejuni infection it ought to happen. And here also you can add upon the contaminated water because the same thing happened up in the Pune that after having the contaminated water, the infection of Campylobacter jejuni happened. And in the exam, in the NEET PG exam, the question came regarding the raw milk. So somebody have eaten up drunk up the raw milk, unpasteurized milk, and landed with some infections in which blood is also coming up. That means it's a sort of dysentery in this particular Campylobacter jejuni infection. Okay, and along with what? The poultry bird products. That is the eggs and all, along with all other products of poultry. That also associates with what? Campylobacter jejuni. Okay, Campylobacter jejuni is an organism in which, suppose a question comes regarding the MCQ of Campylobacter jejuni. You should remember that this is the only organism which loves to grow at 42 degrees centigrade. Okay, I'm just telling up because it might come in the form of some MCQ. So how to catch up that particular MCQ? Catch up that MCQ with this temperature stuff. 42 degrees centigrade if it is written up. This is the only organism which loves to grow at 42 degrees centigrade. And how to remember it for lifetime now? Remember like this, that this is which camp? This is summer camp. Okay, this is which camp? This is summer camp. Fine. And summer camp is having a temperature how much, guys? It is having a temperature of 42. Okay. Now talking about the Shigella. The most common cause of bacillary dysentery is Shigella species. Everybody knows it, I suppose. Okay. Associates with potato or egg salad. The similar story of staph. Lettuce, raw vegetables. The similar story. Okay. That is regarding the Shigella. And Vibrio parahemolyticus. Another favorite question which is coming again and again, and definitely in the prof exam, it can come in the form of MCQ. Vibrio parahemolyticus is 7% halophilic. Okay. This particular one is what, guys? It is 7% halophilic. Means it loves the salt. And associates with what? Contaminated mollusk and crustaceans. Okay. Contaminated mollusk and crustaceans. And mostly they say that is the oysters. Okay. Contaminated oysters that is being eaten up and the patient lands with what? Seafood poisoning. The patient lands with what? Seafood poisoning. Okay. The patient lands with seafood poisoning. So that also should be remembered regarding the Vibrio parahemolyticus. So this particular table itself is full of questions, guys. They can give any of these things and they can ask according to the incubation period that which organism we are talking about and what is the likely DD which you can make if the incubation period is this. So guys, again, I'm telling up, if it is less than 6 hours, Staphylococcus aureus and Bacillus cereus. If it is between 8 to 16 hours, then it is Clostridium perfringens, Bacillus cereus, diarrheal one, Vibrio, cholerae, and down. They come in the list of more than 16 hours. From the Vibrio cholerae, the incubation period starts how much? More than 16 hours. And what is that? Enterotoxigenic E. coli, other than Vibrio, enterohemorrhagic E. coli. So two most important E. coli's. The names of them you should know. One is enterotoxigenic and one is enterohemorrhagic. Along with that, Salmonella, Campylobacter jejuni, Shigella, and Vibrio parahemolyticus. And this Vibrio parahemolyticus, guys, they can ask up, it associates with seafood poisoning. And nowadays they're asking a question that which particular phenomena is observed in this. So there is a phenomena which is being observed, and that phenomena name, just you remember up, and that is Kanagawa phenomena. And what is Kanagawa phenomena? It is enhanced beta hemolysis. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? एनहांस्ड बीटा हेमोलिसिस. अब तुम्हें बीटा हेमोलिसिस का मतलब पता होना चाहिए. क्या होता है बीटा हेमोलिसिस? कंप्लीट हेमोलिसिस उसको बोलते हैं. और कानागावा फिनोमिना जो है कौन दिखाता है? विब्रियो पैराहेमोलिटिकस. ओके, सो ये भी पूछा गया, तो दिस कैन ऑल्सो बी आस्क्ड. और कैंप के बारे में याद रखना बॉस. और कैंप कौन सा कैंप है? समर कैंप. और समर कैंप का टेम्परेचर कितना है? 42 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड. व्हाट इज द टेम्परेचर? 42. Toxigenic, T for T. The most common cause of traveler's diarrhea is enterotoxigenic E. coli. Or hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is happening, boss. Okay. And if you remember, apple juice is red only, na? So relate that. Enterohemorrhagic E. coli associates with contaminated apple juice along with these particular stuffs. That is beef, roasted beef, salami, raw milk, raw vegetables. All these they associates with what? All these they associates with this enterohemorrhagic E. coli. And the salmonella is not salmonella typhi, it is non-salmonella typhi. Non-salmonella typhi means what, guys? Non-salmonella typhi means salmonella typhimurium and salmonella enteritis. These are there which associates with this gastroenteritis or food poisoning. Is it fine? And Campylobacter jejuni, raw milk, poultry birds, and the contaminated water also. Another important thing regarding Campylobacter jejuni is summer camp 42. Another is it have a very strong association with GBS. And what is GBS? Guillain-Barré syndrome. Okay, Guillain-Barré syndrome. Which one is having a strong association? Campylobacter jejuni. Is it fine, guys? So this particular table is a storehouse of lot of questions. Definitely they can give us case scenario according to this, and they might ask you in the exam. Is it fine?